السلام عليك يا غلام المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا بنا فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا بنا خديجة الكبرى. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي الحسين وعلى عمر الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. قريب الحسين مغلول الحسين Shaheed Hussein. We are the ones who wish that we were there with you today. As you looked around and there was no one there. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الصادقين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا ما كنا نحمد يوم أن هدانا الله. أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في الكتاب الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. صدق الله العظيم. صلوات Today is a very difficult day for all of us. It is a day that we remember the greatest tragedy, but we also celebrate the greatest victory. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, He says, do men think that they will be able to say, I believe, and they not be tested, that they not go through a trial, that they will not have to prove that it is that they believe. When we look into the history of mankind, even before man came to the face of this earth, it was Muhammad and Muhammad who decided that they would make the ultimate sacrifices for all of mankind. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to create man, He said that there would need to be a group of people who would go down and they would save mankind from themselves. And those people that decided that they would be the ones who take the biggest test was Muhammad. We find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created Muhammad. And from the light of Muhammad, He created Ali. From the light of Muhammad and Ali, He created Fatima. And from the light of Fatima, He created Hassan and Hussein. And from the light of the Hanjitan, He created the whole of the world. We find that there have been many sacrifices that had to be made. And the first of those sacrifices that needed to be made, if we go back and we look at what happened at Eid al-Ghadir, and we go back and we look at what happened at Eid al-Adha, we find that perfection was done at Eid al-Ghadir. But at Eid al-Adha, there was a sacrifice that needed to be made. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to His servant Ibrahim to sacrifice your son. And Ibrahim, in obedience to his Lord, he took Ismail to the altar to sacrifice him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separated and changed that sacrifice of Ismail to an Ashura. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that it still needs to be a sacrifice of mankind. And who was it that was going to give the sacrifice of mankind? The man who decided to give that sacrifice was our own Nabi, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His representative on the day of Ashura was Imam Hussein. They were the ones who made the sacrifice. Over the past few nights, we began to go over some of the things that we learned from Kerbala. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never puts any compulsion on us. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the rights and responsibilities that we have towards Him, towards mankind, towards our families, towards our neighbors. And we see that Imam Hussein, alayhi salatu wasalam, that when it came to sacrifices, that he had sacrificed for all of them, and he knew the rights that everyone had with him. Imam Hussein was different than any other person who was martyred for any cause. Imam Hussein, when it was time for him to be martyred, he didn't cry about it. He didn't complain about it. He thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving him the opportunity to be able to make the sacrifice for his Lord. Tonight is very difficult because we go back to Kerbala. And as we go back to Kerbala, I ask you to clear your minds and open your hearts. And don't look at the events of Kerbala as if they're happening just to Imam Hussein. But I would like for you to put yourself in the place of Imam Hussein. I want you to think about his children as your children. I want you to think about his sisters as your sisters. I want you to think about his wife as your wives. We find Imam Hussein as he goes back to his tent after the enemy had killed Ali Ashura. And as he's walking back towards the tents, he's looking around, and all of his companions are gone, and all of his friends are gone. His sons have been murdered. His brothers have been martyred. And he's walking back towards the tents of the ladies. And he goes into the tents with these ladies, and he has to explain to them what happened to their husbands, what happened to their sons. But these ladies had a great understanding. They said, "Oh, Abba Abdullah, if we had more that we could give to you, we would have given more. We're not upset that they died, but we wish that we had more to give to you." Imam then goes to the room of the tent of his son, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. And he nudges his son because he's sleeping, and he says, "Oh my son, it is time for me to go to the battlefield." And Imam Zayn al-Abidin, he says, "Oh my father, why are you going to the battlefield? Where is Abbas? Where is Ali Akbar? Where is Aun? Where is Muhammad?" And our Imam said that they have gone to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they have become shaheed. Imam Zayn al-Abidin, who was sick at the time, he goes and he asks, "My father, bring me a stick and bring me a sword." The Imam says, "Why do you want a stick and why do you want a sword?" He said, "So that I can stand up with the stick and I can defend you, my father, with my sword." The Imam said, "No, Zayn al-Abidin, it is not your time to go out and fight. You have now become the Imam of your time. You are the most excellent of men after me. And it is my honor to let you know that you are the Imam of the Shia. I want you to let the people know when you go back to Medina that I always prayed for them and I always thought about them. Give our Shia my salams. And when you talk to them, tell them every time that they take a drink of water to remember us here today at Kerbala. So when we drink our water, we should always remember Imam Hussein. We have a report of Imam Zainul Abidin that he's in Medina and there's a man who comes by and he's ready to make a sack, he's ready to kill an animal. And he asks the man, he says, "Oh man, before you kill this animal, what is it that you're doing?" Sallallahu Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. The man said, before we slaughter an animal, we give the animal water. The Imam said, on the day of Ashura, they slaughtered my father and they didn't offer him any water. The Imam, after speaking to Zainul Abidin, he goes to Zainab and he has a close relationship with his sister. And he tells his sister that she is now responsible for those that are with her at Karbala. And it's their responsibility to make sure that they get back to Medina safe. So the Imam, he's going to say his farewells to everyone. But there was something that his sister always told him that his mother said. And the Imam would always ask his sister Zainab, when are you going to tell me what it is that our mother said? At this time, Zainab decided that she would tell the Imam what it is that the mother said. She said, at Karbala, on Ashura, open the shirt of Abba Abdullah and give him this shirt. And as he's putting on the shirt, kiss his neck because the enemies will kiss his neck. Kiss his chest because the enemies will kiss his chest. Kiss his chest because they will sit on his chest. So Zainab, she kisses the chest and neck of her brother. And Abba Abdullah, he knows that it's time for him to go out to war. And he gets on his horse. And he says to his horse, he says, "Oh horse, I ask you to go out one more time with me and ride me there to the enemy so that I can meet my destination." Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he goes out and he begins to address the army of Umar ibn Saad. He says, "For those of you who do not know who I am the grandson of your prophet, Rasulullah, who you all agree. I am the grandson of Khadija Kubara. I am the son of the Prophet's only daughter, Fatima Zahra. I am the son of the first man to accept Islam. Did you know that Jafar Itiyah is my uncle? Did you know that Hamza too is my uncle? For many of those that are here today, you have seen my grandfather. Have you not heard what my grandfather said, that myself and my brother, we are the chiefs of the youth of paradise? Were you not there when I would fall and the Prophet would cry for me because of the pain that I felt? Were you not around when the Prophet would walk around the city streets with me and my brother on his back? And the people would say, "Oh, what a beautiful mouth these kids have." And the Prophet would say, "No, it is the riders who are the special ones." The Imam then he says, "For what bad thing is it that you're here to kill me for? Have I ever taken anything from anybody? Have I ever usurped the rights of anybody? Have I ever told a lie to anybody? Have I ever told a lie on anybody? Have any of you ever heard of me missing my wajibats? Have any of you ever seen me make any innovations to the religion of Islam?" The army of Umar ibn Saad, they all said with one voice, "No, Hussein. We've never heard or seen you do any of those things. But we don't come to kill you today because of anything that you have done. Listen to what it is that they say, my brothers and sisters. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, He says that He put the love between the hearts of the believers. Surely you were on the brink of the hellfire until He had put this love between the hearts of the believers. But these people there on the day of Ashura, they said to Imam Hussein, we don't kill you for anything that you did, but we kill you because your father killed our father at the Battle of Hunayn and the Battle of Badr. Imam Hussein at this time, he gives them one more chance. He says, oh, you army, it's not too late for you to obtain your salvation. You can walk away from here, and I will not complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will not complain to Rasulullah. Your fate is in your own hands. And Imam Hussein, he loved these people for the sake of Allah. And anyone who he had hate for, he only hated them for the sake of Allah. But these people, they began to taunt our Imam, and they said, you're afraid to fight. So our Imam had one request. He said, if you will, Umar ibn Sa'd, why don't you come to the battlefield and you fight me one-on-one? Umar ibn Sa'd, he said, no, but I will allow you to fight a one-on-one battle. So we find the battle begins, and Imam Hussein, everyone that the enemy sends to him, he kills them. They send another, he kills them. They send two, he kills the two. They send five, he kills the five. They send five more, he kills the five. He send 10. He kills the 10, he sends 50, he kills the 50. Imam, he fights valiantly, Shimmer, he says, Umar ibn Sa'd, you cannot fight this man this way. I have fought with his father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. I have seen his father destroy whole armies by himself. This is the blood that this man has gone through his body. We must surround him on all sides. And when they begin to try to surround the Imam on all sides, he goes through and he runs out one side of the army and he scatters them. He goes to the other side of the army and he scatters them. And he goes to another side of the army and he scatters them. And then he stands up on his stirrups and he looks towards the Faraj and he says, oh Abbas, come see your brother fight today. Come see your brother defend Islam today. Come see how valiant your brother is fighting today, oh Abbas. At this time, the cowards, they said, we can't defeat them. They said the only way that we can get something to happen, we have to say, Hussein is all about the Faraj. He is trying to get water while they're attacking the tents of the women. So Imam Hussein, he goes back to the tents. And brothers and sisters, it gets very hard when he goes back to the tents. We know that he went back to the tents because of a pretense of a lie. But when he goes back to the tents, he tells his sister and he tells all the women there, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And he tells Imam Zainul Abidin, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As he gives salams to everybody, he's looking around for one person to give salams to. And he can't find that person he's trying to give salams to. So Imam, he mounts his horse and he's going out. But when he tells his horse to go forward, the horse will not go forward. And he says, oh horse, what makes you not go forward? I command you to go forward. The Imam turns around and he looks down and he sees Sukaina. And Sukaina says, oh no, brother, please don't go back to the war. Because Abbas, he went to the war, he never came. Ali Akbar, he went to the war, he never came back. Al Muhammad, they went to the war and they never came back. She said, oh my father, can I just lay on your chest one more time? For those of you who have children, you know whenever it's time for you to go somewhere, if the children hear the keys, they begin to cry because they don't want you to go anywhere. But Sukaina understood that when her father went, that he wouldn't be coming back. So the Imam, he honors his daughter's request. And he lays down with his daughter. And his daughter falls asleep while she's on his chest. And all of a sudden, Sukaina wakes up. And she says, Baba, you have to go now. Imam Hussein, he's shocked, he's astounded. He said, Sukaina, what makes you now say that I have to go? He says, because I see my grandmother, Fatima Zahra. She said to me, Sukaina, you have to let my son go and come to me. You have to allow him to come to me now. Oh, it's difficult tonight, brothers and sisters. We find that Imam Hussein, he goes and he mounts on his horse. And these guys, they say, we can no longer try to play them a one-on-one battle. So they began to cut the archers on one side and they began to shoot the arrows on Imam Hussein. And it rained arrows on our Imam. And the books of Hadith said that they had so many arrows in him that he looked like a pincushion. And it said that he was there